Greetings, fillies and gentle colts. Welcome to another exciting, action-packed episode of Talking Heads, otherwise known as stable-side discussions, disputes, and debates. I'm your humble host, Misfortune, and I'm exhausted. Putting on an ad campaign together apparently takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of professionalism. So much so, I had to write a script. That's right, I am reading up a script now. Normally, I don't use scripts and improvise, as some of my former panelists or frequent viewers can attest, but I'm dealing with professional musicians today. So I have to go the whole 9 yards for the sake of our very, very professional panelists today. So enjoy some scripting, Misfortune. See what I did there? Alright, any of that nonsense aside, welcome to the show, everybody. I have got a spectacular episode planned for you today, and even more fantastic episodes booked over the course of next week. Today we're kicking off day 1 of SD3's very first special event, Operation Rainbows, Roots, and Roadtrips, where we're here to promote the aforementioned Rainbow and Rooted album and the Musiquestria Tour. Let's start with what SD3 is, for all you newcomers from all corners of the internet. SD3 is a talk show originally made for a critique group I am the founder and head admin of, called the Equestrian Critics Society, over on fanfiction.net. You know, that silly fanfic site where everybody posts hundreds of plot pics and stories about black and red alicorns? Anywho, folks submit stories for us to review, and, well, we review them. We're going 300 members strong, and we have a lot of stories coming to us every day, so much so, it takes quite a bit of time for our critics to get those reviews out the door. So here's where SD3 comes in. Originally called the Equestrian Critics Society's The Round Stable, we made this show to help pass the time for all of our very patient users over in our group. And since we started it, we've gotten bigger and bigger in scope and scale. Just last week, we had the Analysis Bronies Digibrony, the AMY Pony, and Brony Curious come and join us to share their thoughts on why they do what it is they do. A few weeks before that, we invited Zedrin from Silly Philly Studios, the group you might know for the fan animation Snowdrop, Colin Gardez from Fanfiction, Veggie55, a popular comic artist, and last but certainly not least, Cyril the Wolf, a very talented musician in our awesome fandom. Every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is basically now, we host a new episode with a new topic and panel to hopefully share clashing opinions on things for a good 1 to 2 hours or so. Then upload them to our newly created official SD3 YouTube channel, where you can find the link below if you're not actually watching this episode on YouTube instead of our live stream where we do all of our episodes. This special, however, we're going to be going all out to bring you 5 episodes of awesome content featuring special guests, including the folks joining me on my panel today, as well as Stormwolf, DJ EHT, Lavender Harmony, Bajodi, Tarby, and more, all with Wendell, getting ready for the Musiquestria and Rainbow and Rooted. Now, I'm sure some of you might be asking, what are these things of which you speak, Misfortune? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the smash hit album Balloon Party, which had many talented musicians come together to create one epic soundtrack of kick-ass music. And Rainbow and Rooted hopes to pull that off once again. This successor to Balloon Party is looking to blast our eardrums out with some more great music, but more importantly, help get our talented musicians who worked their tails off on making this album out the Brony career in August. Because, you know, that's pretty important jazz. So, on the other side of the coin, we've got the upcoming Musiquestria Tour, which looks to send some of our most well-known musicians, such as Silva Hound and Mike the Microphone, all across the country to play music. And hey, they might even play in Town. However, they need your help to make this a reality. Musiquestria is a fan-funded project looking to meet a $15,000 goal. They are already a third of the way there, but are still looking for as much help as they can get. If you got $5 to spare and don't plan on spending on, say, a Subway footlong or something that's equally $5, show some love. They're working hard so they can tour the country, and they're wanting to give away some great prizes to those willing to make big contributions, such as performances or dinner, or even party with the musicians on the tour, wherever you like. Though, you're going to have to be a little quick for some of those awesome goodies. They're quite limited in supply. Both of these hugely ambitious projects direly need your help, and so do the talented bronies working on them. If you want to learn to hook to your musicians, hit up the links below and view the info for Rainbow and Rooted and where to donate, as well as the Musiquestria Indiegogo page to contribute to the tour. So, what are you waiting for? Do it! Do it! Alright, just kidding. But seriously though, show them some of our brony community patented love and generosity. They could use it right now. Okay! That's the big stuff out of the way, so why don't we get to why you're all here tonight, shall we? To kick off Operation Rainbows, Roots, and Roadtrips, we've invited some musicians to come and chat with us about all things music. For the kickoff and the first episode of this special, we'd like to focus on the state of music today, such as how music is going, if it's losing or picking up steam, if we have too many or too few musicians, and all things in general about the topic. Joining me to discuss this subject includes an all-star panel, which I'm sure you might be eager to hear their thoughts as much as I am. Okay, Misfortune, enough, forget it, move on! I'm sure some of you are screaming at me right now. So, without further ado, I give you the muff-loving wooden toaster, otherwise known as Glaze. Fantastic. The lovably insane Speedcore Dave.
Hello.
And the cool guy with the name I absolutely love, Stars and Autumn.
Hey, can't follow up that introduction.
Nope. And finally, joining me from the crew at the Equestrian Critic Society is Mr. Album 321.
Hello.
Now, Silva Hound would be joining me today, but unfortunately he is not here and or going to be late, so we'll try to get him in as soon as we can. Anyway, welcome to the show, guys. I hope I didn't bore you to tears with that overdrawn introduction.
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm still here.
Alright, just making sure. Alright, cool. So, before we dive into the topic and get to chit-chat, let's pretend that nobody on the planet knows who any of you are. I know it's a little hard to believe for some of our viewers, for you guys, but just bear with me and play along. That said, Blaze, why don't you tell us just who the wooden toaster is, what he does, what he makes, how long he's been doing it, and just maybe why he loves moths so much?
I sit on my butt and do nothing all day.
I give you this fancy schmancy introduction and you don't have anything to say about yourself.
Well,
Nice,
that
Mom.
was kind of a lot to take in at once. You should, like, ask me individually. Then I have, like, a chance for my brain to catch up. Like, go through that list, like, one at a time.
Okay, what do you do and what do you make?
I make music, and I sit on my butt and do nothing.
What kind of music do you make?
Electronic stuff.
How long have you been doing it?
What genre it falls under.
We'll just call it the Glaze genre or something. Because it is kind of pretty unique music. How long have you been at it?
About 5 years, maybe. Yeah, about 5 years now.
5 years, it's good. And why do you love moths so much?
Because they're adorable. Like, they're antennas. They're like the cutest things. They're like feathers. And they're just really fluffy. I just want to hug one.
Okay then, so the sexy British toaster has spoken. This is the part where I'll be introducing Silva in my script, but you know what, Silva's not here! Woohoo! Alright, Dave! With an exclamation point and demands emphasis. What can you tell us about yourself?
I am Dave, also known as Speedcore Dave. I've been making speedcore and other hard electronic music for 3 or 4 years now, and I do pony music and that's about horses, which are cartoons and really cool, so yeah.
Yeah, because that's totally not lame, all the ponies and stuff.
No, it sounds better if there's like a 250 BPM kick drum behind it, if I'm perfectly honest.
How long have you been making your music and stuff?
Well, honestly, I've been sort of like playing around with it since 2005, but that's purely because I was like, oh, I found FL Studio, I can play around with this. So, obviously, being 10, the music would be awful. But like, I started taking it seriously in like the past 3 years, like learning production techniques and whatnot, and here I am today. So, hey.
Yay. Alright, that was insightful. Insightful? Well, maybe? Yeah. Anyway, Stars and Autumn, what do you have to share with us? But, more importantly, please explain to me where you came up with that awesome name.
You want the short reason or the long reason?
Whichever you feel like explaining.
Stars and autumn, term autumn, another word for that would be fall, so it's kind of planned words for falling stars. I'm a trance/orchestral music composer / producer. I started producing a couple of years ago, back when the pony thing was blowing up, and I was like, wow, a lot of cool fan music, maybe I can do it. And these past 6 months I've been trying to focus mainly on trance, but I still do some orchestral stuff.
Okay. And so, and me and my fellow viewers are the magical and magnificent lives of the people behind the music-making bronies. Because, you know, that's very magical and mysterious and magnificent. Of course, we cannot finish this introduction tidbit without hearing from Mr. Album. So, what do you have to share with us? Any riveting tales to match our musicians?
Make sure that you don't freeze when put on the spot. Like Miss said, you know, I'm Mr. Album 321. There's a reason why my username is that. You know, the first thing that actually got me into nerddom. Oh, hey Silva. Was
He's not actually in.
was actually,
Keep going.
you know, looking through music and whatnot and albums and going, oh, I like that. Oh, wait, who made this stuff? You know, that's what got me into music. So I got more of a, you know, perspective of what music was like in the days of yore, essentially.
Days of yore, I like that. And,
Well, of course, if yore means like 60s and up, then yeah.
60s is like the best music.
Well, they had a lot of good music then.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, a lot of it sounded the same, now that I think about it. But anyway, that's me.
And you do critique for the Equestrian Critics Society?
Yep, that's true. Thank you for reminding me about that. So focused on music, I forgot about you know, why I'm actually here.
You're the add-on. You're the guest.
Actually, they're the guests. I'm merely your lackey.
Yeah, you are my
I'm
lackey.
good at that.
Alright, well, cool story. That's probably my vote for the best story of the bunch. I mean, Glazes was pretty
I don't know.
convincing, but I think that was pretty good. Alrighty then, so now that we know just who our panelists are, let's make a rainbow dash and dash into this topic. For those of you who don't get the joke, go watch Friendship is Witchcraft. So, topic I'd like to discuss or hear your guys' thoughts on would be the state of music today. We're going to break it down a bit between talking about things like YouTube life and viewers, if musicians might be going the way of the artists, where there's far too many, it's really hard to point out one or two. If there's still monopolies going on for specific genres, like Eurobeat, I think, with Eurobeat. If it's becoming easier or harder for you guys to make music because of possible competition, things like that. But do you guys have anything you want to say about the subject in general before we dive into the subtopics?
Music scene's still alive.
Yeah, music still exists. Hasn't disappeared just yet. I'm gonna give it a few more years before it completely goes away.
I think
I
it's
like
not...
music.
Great contribution.
July.
You trooper Glaze. Alright. So, let's go and get to the breakdown. So, got this broken up into multiple categories. So I think the first thing I'd like to start off with is peers and competitors. So feel free to chime in whenever you guys want, whoever wants to chime in. How hard has it been to notice up-and-coming musicians? Because this is something that came up in our underappreciated content creators episode with Cyril a while back, and I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
It's certainly harder than it was back when there was like 5 people. Since the creation of My Little Remix, right, we had like very few members, but now it's like we get new members every day, so I'd say it's definitely harder, but not impossible.
Yeah, like, definitely. Mostly, like, since the Brony, like, I was gonna call it the Brony scene, but now just a bit strange, like the Brony fandom. Since it's, like, sort of exploded in the past couple of years, obviously more and more people want to, like, create music, and it's obviously a good thing, because, you know, people should make music because it's, like, really fun and all that jazz. But since, like, the number of Brony musicians has grown so much, it's really, really difficult to find someone that's actually relatively, like, good to listen to, and those people who do actually produce really good music will, like, be swept under with people who, like, copy paste random samples of My Little Pony and over in like a standard loopy kick drum thing. So like, it's just very difficult to try and get your name out there, like to stand out more. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely say that is a pretty big problem because there's a lot of musicians coming in, I think I noticed, but especially the people working on Rainbow and Rooted. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people I haven't even heard of because I haven't really heard about them because of whatever reason. Nobody's been telling us about them. They haven't been really, I wouldn't say advertising themselves so that they're as noticeable. So yeah, I think it is a bit of a big problem. So, would you say there are definitely a lot of musicians on the scene, or do you guys even know?
There's thousands at least.
Thousands?
It's a ridiculous number. There's like over 200 people alone doing it for Rainbow Rooted, like entries already. And yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot.
it is.
Yeah, my Little Remix has 2,688 users, and even if it like the real number is only half of that, it's still like over 1,000.
That's quite a lot. Liz, do you have anything you want to say about this? That's about a word, guys. Come on. Come on, man, you can do it. I have faith in you. Sure, you got something to share.
Well, it was a lot easier starting out, because like, there was barely anyone there, so everyone had to make do with what they had.
Okay, next question. Do you guys support musicians looking to make a name, or is it far too busy and chaotic with what you guys are doing that it's kind of impossible to help?
I think it's important to form, friendships with people, and you all kind of support each other. That's typically how it's done. It's possible to support everybody, because it kind of gets lost in the noise eventually. But yeah, if you find an artist you really like, collabing usually helps, and remixing usually helps.
Yeah, and I would also imagine that the more perspectives you have over your own work, like bringing all those other people to take a look at yours, and trusting them because you think they're awesome, then that will help your music get better and will help them see where you're at and how maybe you can help them. And it just seems to me like it's just a really good idea to do that. Whether or not that was coherent thought is, well, left to debate.
So, you think you could probably say the same for other well-known or established musicians, is that it's hard to be able to help out newcomers?
It's strange because you can only help yourself, like in total. If you obviously can ask for help, like from people, but you can't exactly go up to like someone incredibly famous and go, "Hey, I learned FL Studio 5 days ago. Let me be famous like you." Like spam a bunch of their stuff around. Obviously, like you just want to keep going and just try and hope. It's a bit strange.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just starting out as a musician, getting a huge follower count is going to be pretty hard, mainly due to the fact that you're just so inexperienced. It will take time and experience for you to develop the skills you need to really create your songs to sound very mixed well and composed correctly, and then it'll start getting easier.
I have to say, a lot of the up-and-coming musicians look up to you guys because they think you guys figured it out, and they're hoping to learn some of those answers from you. So, and I understand there is some difficulty in being able to, get that word out to people, because I'm sure you guys live such complicated lives that it's hard to answer people. Am I right?
Yeah.
Alright, that was a pretty skewed question. That was a skewed question. But yeah, what I was wanting to I guess kind of talk about there is that a lot of the up-and-coming musicians are trying to get help from the more well-known ones, and sometimes that I notice some of them drop out because they're not sure what to do or where to go with this whole deal, and I think that's why, I don't know, I just haven't really seen a lot of musicians on YouTube from a lot of the other running musicians, and I think it's just because they don't know who, they don't have very many contacts, and it's hard to get their music out. So I personally, as like a viewer, I haven't really seen very many musicians, and I've been wondering if that's actually a problem for some reason, or if there's a reason to that.
Are you asking about whether or not musicians, it's not easy for musicians to get in contact with other musicians, or it's not easy for musicians to be exposed to the general brony community?
It might be it might be the second, that there's less exposure than say in other more established fandom. Like if you make a song about Mass Effect 3, you know, I would imagine that you'd get more exposure than if you made a song that was like a remix of Smile, Smile, Smile or something like that. Because, you know, for me personally, I actually hadn't heard of all you guys until Misfortune brought it up a couple days ago, so.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, Equestrian Daily used to be the go-to for music, but it's had to gone through some policy changes. I'm not entirely sure how they do it now, but it's no longer like 1 or 2 songs a day. It's, you know, a whole bunch.
3,000.
3,000 a day?
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a fact.
That is a lot. He's
Counts
counted.
every day. In between his moth picture, huh?
Okay, what can you guys tell us about collaborations? Because that's apparently a really big deal between most musicians, I've noticed. Like between you and the underdogs, or between you and the other established musicians, are they easier or harder, or are they becoming easier or harder? Are you doing more or less of them than you'd like? Is it the same for other musicians?
It just depends. There's like multiple variables you have to account if you want to collab with someone or not. Obviously, if you've spoken to a person beforehand, like, and you're friends and probably know, you'd be more inclined to collaborate with them on a track, as opposed to some random person you've never met just goes, hey, I want to make a music with you, like, comes up to you, and you've already met, and I don't really want to. But obviously, there's tons of different, like, conditions that have to be met for a collab to work, like a good relationship with the artist, like, in question who you want to collab with, like, different DAWs, like keeping like a same consistent style throughout, and just trying to work well with the other person, because that's probably the hardest one, honestly. But I don't see there any like a shortage of collabs anytime soon, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say the hardest part about collabing is finding those people, because I've been in collaborations where I've done stuff and the other person never got back to me, or...
I'm the person that's done collabs and not got back to them. So we're at the, like, both ends of the stick here.
Yeah, I think it's important to really communicate and try and just stick to your friends for collaborations. Also, if you're not experienced with collaborations, like I'm not, it can be kind of hard to figure out a process. Because you have to make sure you're using at least mostly the right tools, or some of the right tools. And, you know, vocals can be hard because you gotta make sure the other person has correct mic settings, or, you know, it's not done on a USB mic or whatever. So it can be a challenge, but sometimes it's worth it. I mean, the Living Tombstones had great success with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has gotten quite a bit of work done. But I think one of the big questions I wanted to cover is, has it become harder to do collaborations? Because there's so many musicians, and I'm sure it's impossible to get back to all of them.
I mean, I don't only do collabs with like friends, so.
Yeah, same.
So you guys would say you're pretty closed off?
Yeah.
If someone comes up to me with something really interesting, I'd probably go like, okay, I'll give this a shot, but it just depends on what music they do. Like, see if I can work with the content, but I rarely ever do collabs. I've only done like 2 in the past, and one no one's ever heard of because it's just so, like, crap. The one I did with Icky was like fairly good, because he's got like, he wants to sort of explore my genre a bit more. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll approach you in that direction. Yeah. Stuff.
Okay. I guess that gives us a pretty fair picture of the collaboration department. So, have you guys ever thought that you had rivals and competitors? Like, has that affected you in any way, or is it affecting music in general?
What kind of competitors? Just more of them?
Just people maybe who working in the same genre as you guys are. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, basically guys who are making the same kind of music you are, have you ever seen them as rivals or competitors with the kind of stuff you're making?
Not, well, partially I guess, but not, I mean, basically if you're making the same kind of music, more likely your fans will also like their music, and it's not really a competition with them, it's more, you know, it's easier to be friends with that person rather than try and compete with them exactly.
You know, competition is kind of a great fuel of creativity, in my opinion, because, you know, get people trying to make the better song. Sometimes they actually make good songs out of it.
You know, that can backfire though, because, you know, whenever you include a competition, you have the potential for people to get really intense with it. The moment they get intense, you know, their emotions are probably going to skyrocket. You know, there's always, you know, the fear that in the middle of a competition, somebody's going to blow up. And while it may look entertaining to someone else, to that person, it's one of the worst things in the world. So.
It's
I
like
remember Tuma Stone used to get really competitive with Toastfield at one point. That was good.
I'd love to hear that story.
It's not much of a story, it's just he got really, like, competitive during it.
the thing is with music, it's very hard to like not enjoy someone else's other music in sort of your genre. Because like, if someone made a song similar to sort of like the style you do, obviously you do the style so you like it, and if they make a song...
I hate my music. I hate my style. I just make it as I can.
Shut up! Music shouldn't be seen as a competition. I don't feel I can like speak very much because there's very little people. I mean, I can only name 3 who do the same sort of music I do in the growing community. But yeah, for other people
You taught me.
I did. You made a beautiful sound.
Yeah, I really think that the thing I enjoy, or yeah, like at most I might like really envy somebody's sound, but not compete with them exactly. Like McConn's sounds great for, I think he's the best orchestral musician in the roadie community, and I try to make my music sometimes sound a lot more like his. But other than that, I don't feel like I'm competing with him.
Fair enough. The reason I kind of brought this up was because I guess there are still those quote-unquote monopolies going on, like with, I think Eurobeat making Eurobeat music and stuff like that. And how a lot of people trying to make stuff under the same genre are kind of getting ignored because of it. And I'm saying, like, if there's any competition in that going on, that might, I don't know, it could possibly change a number of things, like who's going to be the next to rise in the brony fandom. That's kind of where I'm getting at with this.
You know, but part of me has wondered, you know, a lot of the music that you guys do is electronic music. Now, again, you know, maybe it's because of lack of exposure, but I haven't heard any like just very simple, stripped down like just Gaian guitar ballads, you know, in the Brony community. I haven't heard, you know, any like old school rock with blistering guitar solos and stuff like that. You know, there's just so much variety in terms of genre that the music community still has left to explore, and people either are not exploring it or they're not getting recognized for it.
It's definitely
No,
Elvis.
it's the second one.
Yeah, it's definitely the second one, because Ken does like alternate rock music stuff, Manda Pony does a lot of acoustic stuff.
Gatto does really great rock.
I'll have to check them out.
His second to last song I didn't think too much of. His Lost on the Moon cover I thought was brilliant.
Hey, Last Fast, that's quite a good.
That's
song.
just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, in a show about opinions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have to say, like where's the jazz music? I know country's not exactly a popular one, but where's that at?
What's his face? Do it. I forget his name.
You're an enigma?
Blaze?
Huh.
No, just was he thinking of you?
Well, I've done a jazz tune.
Peak Freak.
Forever Odin.
That's what I was thinking of.
I don't know if he's still doing music. He used to do jazz. It's out there. It may, but you also gotta realize that a lot of genres aren't going to be as popular as other ones, right? Like Alex S's, you know, club banging sounds will be a lot more popular than, say, yeah, like jazz or, you know, true classical music.
Dubstep is true classical.
It's the new true classical, right?
Beethoven's my favorite dubstep artist.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So, it's safe to say electronic music is kind of dominating the Brony fandom right now?
Dubstep?
No, just electronic music in general.
Oh, to be honest, like electronic music is far more easier to start off on than like smaller orchestral. Because with like orchestral music, the majority of people who want to make something sound good have to have like various years of experience with like music theory, actually playing an instrument, whereas
And
dubstep.
thousands of pounds worth of plugins.
Yes.
Yes. Although I would say it's actually, from my point of view, it's actually the opposite. If you have maybe a little music theory, but there are free sound fonts out there that sound decent, and honestly, like with orchestral music, it's not hard to mix, so you don't have to spend tons of, you don't have to know tons of mixing knowledge and getting your EQ levels right and so forth. Typically, just put the instruments in the track and compose a song and do very little else, and it's good to go. While electronic music, you go through the several stages: sound design, mixing, and then an attempt at a master. She just sounds horrible.
Sound good, Isa.
Just put 9 on the master channel, it sounds like noisy and good.
Just put a few sound goodizers, you're good to go.
And I'm also pretty sure that there are lessons that can be learned from the other genres, like in terms of pop music. Like the thing about pop music that makes it great to a lot of people is the strong melody line. Like just that one chorus that just hooks into your head and doesn't let go. Just that series of repeated notes that just catches your ear right away. That could be incorporated in other genres. And probably into more Brony music.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are some more genres that could be explored right now, but would you guys think it's safe to say that, would you say electronic music in general is the most popular genre right now?
For who?
Such a huge category, it's hard. The mean, electronic music, you can go all the way to pop.
Well,
If we're including pop in this subcategory, then yes.
It's like saying if water's the most popular drink right now.
okay.
But then again, you know, what are your definitions of popular? Like popular in the brony community, or like popular in the whole world?
Let me rephrase the question. What do you guys think? Oh God.
And the phone call interrupts the panel.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let me rephrase this question. What do you guys think is the most popular genre right now? Even specific genre?
Oh, I don't. Something
Electro
else.
house. Electro
Yeah.
house with dubstep elements.
Wub 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 wub.
Because everybody needs their wubs.
Yes. Kick, snare.
Yeah, yep, that's the big one right now. But I mean, other forms of house, trance.
I'd say trap.
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 I haven't heard much trap.
You don't want to hear much trap.
I don't.
No.
Shut that trap.
Thing is, when trap is done right, it's actually quite listenable. But when it's done wrong, it's just, oh God, why?
Kind of like every genre ever.
Yeah, pretty much. But trap is just like, I don't get it. I tried to listen to some, but all it is just like really slow ghetto tech. Just don't get into it.
That's like the opposite end of the spectrum for you, right, David? Speedcore is like super fast, intense. Trap is
It's so fast I can't keep up with it!
105 BPM or whatever. It's really slow.
And I understand why people don't like speedcore, because, yeah, I've just gotten used to the fact that not many people do. That's purely, I don't really mind. I mean, to each their own. But I try to give other genres I don't like a go, but trap is just, I don't understand. Really don't.
Same here. Trance is where it's at. You know, freaking reverb on everything. It's awesome.
Blaze,
Yes.
what are you thinking?
What?
What are you thinking?
I'm withholding opinions.
That's exact
I'm
opposite.
curious.
Yes, Blaze, tell us.
No.
I'm not gonna let you off the show until you tell us. We're gonna keep
My
hounding you.
opinions. My opinions aren't important. They're
Your opinions are very important. It's why
in this call.
we're here to upset people in this call. It's honestly what we do here.
Is this like a showdown? We can insult whoever the most.
Sometimes it is, but yeah. Come on, tell us your thoughts.
My only thought is trance is really boring to me.
Aww.
Oh.
Oh.
You have a point!
I see how it is. I see how it is.
Okay, hard trance is good in the club atmosphere, but if I was to listen to like trance normally, it's just like classic trance. I say classic trance, I mean like early 2000s trance. It's like really good because it's got more of a banging melody, not melody.
Yeah,
like
I
banging
used to listen to
bass line.
loads of like Euro trance.
Yeah, like
So-
the Rude
so,
and
Bass Hunter.
Bass Hunter. Nice. Like trance has just sort of got like more and more watered down. And it's just turning into pop, like similar to hardstyle, but never like hardstyle.
Similar with a lot of vocal trance, but I think some of the instrumental stuff still has some really interesting sounds to it.
True.
If I may break away from the topic for just a brief second, why is it you guys pick what genres you mostly work on?
Sounded good.
There's no deep and dark reason why you decided to speedcore, Dave?
No, not really. I listened to Speedcore one day, thanks to Wikipedia. Well, that's cool. Let me try and make it. And that's pretty much it.
And that's all you stuck with, the speedcore? You haven't tried other stuff?
Yeah, I've tried plenty of things, but I just don't feel it's like it's good enough currently to sort of like release. I mean, I've got a couple like I can't even describe, like, orchestral jungle sort of tracks, like piano bits, whatnot. That's like relatively slow and a bit different. Yeah, drum and bass I've done a few times in the past. But honestly, I'm only going to produce music I like a lot, and Speakle is something I like a lot, so I'll just continue doing that, to be honest. If there's like a new genre I think is like really, really great, then I'll give it a shot. But yeah, that's it.
Stars, you want to add your input into this?
Yeah, I bounced around genres for a while.
And how did you end up with the ones you're working on?
Well, orchestral, because I like soundtracks from like movies and games and stuff. So I draw a lot of influence from there when I do my orchestral music. It's a lot of fun, I think, and at least starting out it's pretty easy compared to electronic. Why I like trance better than other genres is mainly because I like the contrast between the breakdown and the release. It's the most exciting part of the song, and it sounds really good, so that's why I wanted to focus on it.
Alright, Glaze, what's your story on that?
Like, I don't really know what happened to my music. Like, at one point, like, throughout the 3 years I started out, I was just making, like, chill electronica stuff. And then, suddenly, as soon as Ponies came on, it suddenly became really hard. And I don't really know, it's like, Ponies were so soft that I had to, like, man myself up or something.
Sounds good to me.
But recently, I've been making more, like, orchestral stuff.
Woo!
Warren knows we need more orchestral in this fandom. We need more sweeping pieces.
I don't want to make orchestral.
You
I wonder
should-
what a cappella would sound like.
Like a jazz quartet, not jazz quartet, barbershop quartet.
Yeah.
Did Brownie
No, a grocery
Brownie Mike
store.
do that?
Oh, you mean is that thing that he did? No, I've heard it before. Like, I've heard people do acapella stuff before.
Alright, I guess we'll dive right back on the topic then. Next little category maybe we can delve into is production. So, has it gotten harder or easier at all for you guys?
Harder.
Yeah.
In terms of the tools or just personal?
Or maybe tools, maybe actually trying to make a better song than the last one we did? Because I imagine that's gotta be hard.
You know, depends, honestly. Like, the more you know about music production itself, the more you can see where you're going wrong. And, like, obviously, every time you, like, make a track, you're probably going to be learning new stuff or implement new things you've learned that you've never did before, and you want to continue that sort of same sound and, like, just try and build on it to make it sound better and better. You can get, like, swamped in, like, tweaking things like mastering, this compressor must be at this ratio, or it's changing various like settings on the synths or whatever. But you just have to remember, like, obviously you want it to sound good, but at the end of the day the end consumer can't really tell what you've done to make it sound good, so don't over obsess yourself. If someone comments saying, how dare you change the ratio of your compressor to something slightly different than you did before, you're a prick, how dare you.
You've actually gotten comments like that?
No.
All the time.
I'm saying they're not going to comment things like that. They're going to comment on how much they like the track, or if someone wants to critique you, they say, maybe you should like raise the volume of that. Yes, I've gotten that. Why? But yeah, the audience, then they don't really like know what you've done to make it sound good, so don't overstress yourself.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's just because they don't know what all goes in making music. They don't know how friggin' complicated it is. Seriously, I would hang out with chats with some of you guys, like Blaze and all. I hear you talking about synthesizing and mastering and all these 50 million other bits of lingo, and
How long was that ago? Jesus.
I don't know. This
I haven't spoken about music in years.
This was back when we were in the game chat, Glaze. and I'm talking to musicians in general. where you guys go off on tangents talking about 59 aspects of making music. It just flies right over my head.
You know, another thing that's also true from the perspective of an average Joe who may want to start getting into music, it's like dirt easy. In some respects to just get started. Like at least a couple of years ago, I actually just downloaded Audacity and started fiddling around with my electric guitar for some years, and you know, I never released any of it, but still, it was dirt easy. I can make it easy, you know, and I'm sure that, you know, for people who want to get into music now, it's probably just as easy, maybe even more.
Yeah, it's definitely easier.
Yeah, I mean, now you know, there's so much software out there. It's super easy. It's not like you have to buy hardware really. Just make sure you have a computer and maybe a sound card. But you know, there's still tons of techniques to learn. So it's
as hard as you want to make it, though.
Yeah, it's easy to start. And yeah, it's as hard as you want to make it. It's pretty good.
What about output? Like the amount of music you guys are producing and how much you're producing so often? Has that gotten harder or easier, and would it have to do with other musicians by chance?
I'd say it's gotten harder to release music for me, because back in the day when I was just learning FL Studio, it was really plop down some MIDI notes and configure some synths or put some sound fonts out there and release the song. But now I know so much more about music. There's so much to do to make your track sound better. So it takes more time for me to finish a song than it did before. But I think it sounds better.
So Glaze, what's your excuse?
I'm lazy.
You take like what, half a year in between songs?
I used to actually. Like that was my average. Like during the pony phase, that was like my fastest I've ever worked on music.
Your creative boom.
Yeah. And now I'm back to normal.
Just being a lazy butt.
So do we have to try and get you in another fandom?
If you could find one for me, that'd be great.
Yeah, good luck with that, Autumn. There's not really many to go around.
I gotta find some moth fandom or something.
Oh, there's a fandom for everything. I'm sure if you look hard enough, you'll find one. Maybe Glaze runs it or something.
I've looked for a moth daily, but you know, it's not.
Moth daily.
Oh, God. Alright, so have we hit the peak of new music, or do you think there's still more potential and possibilities we haven't even tapped into yet?
Peak in terms of what?
Like if we've reached maximum output of music and quality of music is basically just what I'm saying. Have we hit the limit yet?
I think quality is hard to find, but there is more of it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think in terms of music, I don't think there's going to be like an upper threshold limit in terms of the amount that's going to get produced. Though I suppose on an individual level, everybody will have their limit, but still, like in general, like the whole human race as time goes on, then yeah, I'm pretty sure that the music is going to stick around.
Well, of course it is, because music's one of the greatest art forms in history. Next to fanfics.
well, okay, literary fiction. Fan fiction will survive as literary fiction.
It's the same.
That's
It's the
essentially
same
what it is.
thing.
It's a specific type of literary fiction, but that's a different subject for another time. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, I had to categorize fanfics as a freaking art form. So, David and Adam, would you say that we haven't hit our limit yet, or do you think that there's kind of a barrier people have been kind of hitting lately?
honestly, like, I don't know, to be honest. There's obviously like a limit to the amount of people who would care about the fandom enough to produce music for it, and as soon as the interest in the fandom sort of goes away, you're not going to be wanting to do more pony music. But as long as there's pony music still around, then as long as ponies are still around, there should be like pony music to go with it. But obviously you can't tell, because I don't know, something might explode and everyone leaves immediately. That's happened like 7 times now, I think. It's just got to a stage where everyone's like, can I really be bothered to make pony music anymore? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like the output will eventually go into decline, but it'll mirror closely to show itself in the fandom. The fandom won't be, it'll go into decline when the show's canceled or just turn into a huge advert for selling toys. And the music, artists will
Wait,
go
it
away.
isn't already that?
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, when we see Applejack's pink trunk, we know to leave forever.
Well, that surely can't be the only reason. I mean, if Applejack sort of went, look at my pink truck, you can buy it at Walmart for $19.99. Yeah, then maybe I'd think twice about watching the show. But honestly, ponies, I don't understand why people are sort of up and I was like, oh my god, it's just going down in quality, man. It's like a show for little girls. People keep forgetting this. It's still entertaining, but like people take it far too seriously.
Yeah, then again, when it comes to matters of the heart, people tend to throw logic out of the window.
But still, people just need a reality check.
It's like sitting there in the bathwater, like a little baby, and they're going, yep, I'm throwing you out. Wah!
Pretty much, honestly.
Yeah. Some people feel that way, but I don't think we're at that point where it's really bad.
So you don't think we're seeing the decline yet?
I mean, it depends on what from your perspective. If you like the new or the old artists, you don't really listen to the new artists, then you could say, yes, it's going to decline because some of the old artists are going away. But if you keep up with the music scene, then it's still as strong as ever, right? I mean, we've got tons of new good musicians. JB, I think, is huge. I think right now he's a really excellent trance producer. So yeah, I think it's still going. I don't think it's quite started declining yet.
But when you're talking about old musicians kind of, putting up their hat, do you think that we're already seeing that with some of our current musicians? Because I think we saw it with I'm Not a Clever Pony like a couple of years ago, and he made some pretty good music back in the early days, and then he just kind of stopped.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I'm Not a Clever Pony sort of discontinued doing music for like really personal reasons. I didn't do it just for the sake of not doing music, but I could be wrong. I don't quote me on that. But
yeah, it was a personal reason he left, or she left. Other musicians just move on because you can only do pony music for so long before you kind of lose inspiration. I mean, eventually you just need to move on or try something different. I think that's how it goes with Silva Hound. And Alex S. It's just eventually it gets old.
They both still want to pursue careers in like professionalism and now jungle wrestling. Fair play to them.
So would you say any of your peers, like some of the well-known guys that you're familiar with, would you say they've hit their limit and they could be hanging up their hat soon?
Well, Silva Hound just made an announcement like a week ago that he is.
I don't have a hat.
Yes. Glaze is just this. You never know what he's gonna do, I guess.
The thing is, I don't understand why people sort of go, I'm never gonna make pony music anymore. It's just like, for fuck's sake, seriously. Obviously, with music, you can't just like say you're not going to make a certain type of music anymore for like your own reason, but it just sort of music happens for all sorts of reasons. Like, if you get suddenly inspired by like pony music like 30 years time when the fandom sort of like, I don't know, it would maybe still exist around, but it'd be a bit strange. You could make pony music then. There's no point quitting something you
And
could
like
still
the
do.
Sonic fandom.
Oh, the Sonic fandom.
Oh man.
Is
I
there
like to
Sonic
pretend
music?
that fandom doesn't exist.
Oh, that fandom still exists.
It exists. It exists, and it's still a thing, and it's beautiful to look at. Just go and Google, type in your first name and then the hedgehog, and then click images. You will see beautiful, beautiful things.
Yeah, I did do that. I think that was a big Tumblr thing for a little bit. Like, what do you get when you Google your own name?
But then again, with the Sonic fandom, I don't think we've seen the kind of explosion in musical creativity with that than we've seen in the Brony fandom. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I don't know if there's been any fandom other than the Brony fandom. Maybe it's the
Exactly.
fandom
Exactly.
that has that musical explosion. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's pretty cool. Probably because the show just has good music, so...
Yeah,
Oh, but
that and ponies are the catalyst for musical creativity. Somehow.
Yeah. But
Yes,
but then
scientific fact.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but then again, going back to comparing like the Brony community to the Sonic the Hedgehog fan community.
Or even the Flight community or the Star Trek community or things like that.
Yeah, and one specific instance I remember, Overclocked Remix put out a tribute album to like the first Sonic the Hedgehog game, and the community, as far as I know, panned it. But then again, you got to think, okay, the first Sonic the Hedgehog game, before its time and for like chiptune style music, had some great music. So it was a similar situation that the source of the fandom had good music, but when tribute music came out, in the case of the Sonic fan community, they panned it. And this was over at Overclocked Remix. Like they hated it, mainly, and they were saying things like, "Oh my God, it's not faithful. Oh my God, it sucks." Then things like that. They essentially threw the equivalent of a fandom hissy fit.
Fandom hissy fit.
That's how I remember it. And that's how I interpreted it. So it's just an interesting case study that in the Brony community, tribute music and stuff based on the show and stuff made as part of the fandom is encouraged and flourishes, whereas in this other case, it got shot down. I just think that's cool that that.
I'm curious why that is, though.
Was it highly produced music that guy made, or was it just really bad sounding?
It was a collaborative effort from several different musicians. Like everything that Overclocked Remix does.
OCR has like really high standards.
Collab driven, yeah. Very highly produced. I mean, Overclocked Remix did a Final Fantasy VII tribute album, and they got the original composer of the Final Fantasy VII music to comment on their tribute album, and the guy liked it.
Nice.
Yeah, Overclocked Remix is huge in the video game music community.
Yeah, but it has something to do with the age of the fandom too. I don't know. Like, if it's a new fandom, there's nothing really traditional to go back on. While older fandoms tend to, newer stuff is not faithful to maybe the original stuff, then some people don't like that.
Alright, let's roll on a little bit. So, I wonder if I should skip these two. I have one question here about, has making music become more of a chore or a challenge?
As soon as it becomes a chore, stop making music, because it should be enjoyed.
Because I think this is some of the reasons some people are hanging up their hat. Really.
Glaze?
It feels like work for me right now, yes.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yes.
boy.
Do you still enjoy making music?
That depends. Like, I enjoy making it, but finishing it, it's just too much work. Can't be asked.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's relatable, at least from a writer perspective. See, writing the damn thing is fine, editing it is not.
Let me just put they all died.
I'm sorry. Speaking as a reviewer, that's like one of the most hilariously worst things you could ever do.
Oh. It's a
Sorry.
good ending.
They all
Tangents
died peacefully.
I should like rename my username to like Mr. Tangents.
They all died happily ever after.
It was all a dream.
Face it.
Yes.
I'm
Electronic
pretty sure-
music. is a little tougher.
Twilight turns into an alicorn. Come on.
Yep.
Actually happened. My entire episode was one really badly done fanfiction.
Yes, it was.
Take a look at Digibroni's view on it. He's got an interesting perspective.
He's an optimist. I'm a cynical. Or cynic. Cynic? Yeah.
I actually don't mind the Alcorn part, but I'm slightly disturbed by the princess part. Like, that didn't make any sense to me.
She's going to be the princess of nerds. It will be glorious.
Well, it suggests that the Equestrian Society is like a meritocracy, not a typical monarchy. So the term princess doesn't really make sense if you can just become a princess. But, you know, technicalities.
Technicalities, yeah.
Then again, part of me is wondering whether or not that was actually part of like the original quote-unquote backstory of like, you know, the original ponies, because with like the G1 ponies, you know, they usually came with like a little blurb talking about who they are and maybe like a little mini story. I looked this up on a wiki at one point, and yeah, there were cases where, you know, those ponies would become princesses because they had earned it. So maybe it's just a part of the thing. I don't know.
But then again, we're not talking about music at this point, so how about we get back on track, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we got a pretty good answer on the chore challenge thing. I think a sub-question I was going to ask on that. Has it affected output? Because I think we've kind of seen that for Glaze, maybe? Since you put it that way, Glaze?
Yes.
Although I think the bigger question I want to be asking is, okay, brain fart. Let's just move on to the next question. Alright, oh yeah, here's a good one. Is there something you guys think that could happen to reinvigorate music again if it's losing steam?
Somebody doing something different. You know, somebody doing something different and like freaking amazing.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, though.
Maybe if someone who is already really established, like, I don't know, some generic famous musician who everyone likes, makes pony music.
Skrillex.
Yes, if Skrillex made pony music. Just
That
like,
would,
I don't know what I would think if that actually happened. Like, before a job, he'd just put yay.lav.
It would set the Brony fandom on fire.
yeah, imagine he made a pony dubstep song and he did the Rainbow Dash, you know, louder sample in there. That would, like, kill bronies. Like, at one hand, Skrillex is doing it, the other hand, God, heard it a million times before. Yeah, if the show, I don't know if this next season, like, there's some really good episodes in it, that could help too.
I'd like to see some more good music, because that was kind of a rarity in Season 3. Like, weren't there really two songs that were, you know, kind of major, like Smile, 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 like, there's Babseed and, I know there's another one, but what was it?
Yeah, you forgetting that season was like half as long as all the others.
I know, but it still had music in it.
Didn't it have like more music than all the others though?
Yeah, but
Well, that's 7 songs.
In one episode.
that's
What's weird, a lot of those episodes didn't have any music at all, though. Like, I think the first 4 or 5 episodes, other than like the Crystal Pony songs, there weren't really any music.
Yeah, the thing is though, with like pony music, not as in pony music from the show, there's very few I actually enjoy. I mean, the rest of it is just sort of like overly cheesy. I mean, don't get me wrong, the musician, like, if someone's remixed this, like, a song,
Cheese is great.
yeah, cheese is
Everything
great.
tastes better, there's cheese.
That's why
Like-
people like it.
True, but obviously there has to be some standards to it.
Well, yeah, you can only have so much cheese before it starts backfiring.
Sorry, but I duck.
Duck.
Yes,
Load, like, badgers flying through the window again.
yes, this is a terrible.
You live in a cave there, Dave?
I am living in a cave. I am so sorry.
You live in a house in a cave.
No, just a cave. I've got my laptop plugged into a wall, which somehow has internet.
No, it's a cave in a house.
That's pretty impressive.
So it's a haven. Aha.
Ha. Funny.
Sure.
Why not? Okay, how about we go into the next little topic thingy I got here, and I think this is kind of a biggie. Relevance. Is music starting to lose relevance at all? Like, because obviously some of our opinion music comes from the show, and according to a lot of people, we're seeing some odd decline in the show, some of the songs that are being put into it, and a number of factors like that. Another thing is, like, there's so many good songs and musicians, it's really hard to pick out good ones out of the mass, because that's a lot like what's going on in the art department. So, would you guys say that maybe some music is starting to lose some relevance?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. It's still around.
But does it feel like less of a demand, less of something that everybody's checking out than it kind of used to be?
Oh,
Uh-huh.
it never really, like, I don't find that, to be honest. I mean, obviously there's more of it, so more people just like, oh, only song there, okay, I'll listen to it eventually. But, like Blaze said previously, but when the fandom sort of first started, there was only like a limited amount of stuff there. So, yeah. Ish.
Yeah, I mean, I think the novelty maybe it's slightly wore off. Like, pony music, this is crazy.
Pony rap music.
Yeah, and after that faded, you know, I think some of it lost interest. So I think it has lost some of, I guess what you call relevancy in this context, but it's still around. So it's not a huge deal.
There's a question if people are still checking it out, and I think there's just been kind of less interest in some of the music that's being made and some of the music that's being listened to. I can't help but think it's partly due to the show, because as I've kind of explained in multiple episodes of the show, that I kind of detest how season 3 turned out, because it felt like one giant fanfic mess that season. So I was just wondering if that actually hampered some of the creativity going on, because I've seen a lot less people working on stuff now than I think there used to be.
You're only gonna make fan music of something if you're a fan of it. So, if you're not a
Yeah,
fan of
like-
the
Or if you want to get famous.
or if you want to get famous, yes.
Famous.
Yeah, I don't know about quality, but like the season 2 villains, I think were a lot better than the season 3 villain. Or
What was his name again?
the king guy,
I don't
I
even
can't remember.
Didn't he have some sort of name? Wasn't he big and scary or something?
I'd never write a song about him.
Oh wait, wasn't it like sombrero or something?
That's good enough for me.
All I know is he had one line, and he said it over and over again.
He just said rah rah rah.
So-
The slaves.
And that's not a character, that's a monster. And I don't have any interest in writing music about him. But Chrysalis was a badass character.
Well,
Alright.
people write awesome songs about Frankenstein, and he's a monster. Well, Frankenstein's monster. They write songs about the
Yeah, but
monster.
it's
That's a good idea.
tragic.
Dr. Frankenstein, yeah.
He has more character than the other dude. I mean, he's a tragic figure. That's plenty of ratings.
good point. Good point.
Sombrero is just wibbly wobbly black magic nonsense
With crystals.
with an obsession for crystals. But don't you guys also think that maybe people are getting tired of music?
No.
I don't think so. No. Like, one of the things that happens with music is that people listen to it, they really like it, and they go, okay, where's more? See, and so they go and try and find more. So if they happen to move from the thing that they enjoyed initially in the search for more, I think that's just normal. Because I know that I do that all the time as an average consumer. So.
Well, me as an average consumer, I've been listening to far less music than I used to because I don't know. There's just been, I guess, a couple of songs or artists that have just been a little bit off-putting. I think because, like, I don't know. There was a couple. I don't mean to knock Tombstone, but a couple of his songs were out of hit or miss.
What's misfortune?
Ha! Funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that kind of. I wasn't sure what to think after listening to a couple of those songs, just wondering how's he gonna improve. And not to mention that some of his earlier songs sounded all kind of samey. And I've personally kind of grown tired of listening to Tombstone because he either did too much of the same stuff and too little of new things, or some of the things he tried just felt like misses. But that's just my case, and that's just with one particular musician, and I guess I've seen that a couple times, and that's why I've sort of tuned out. But I'd have to say maybe there is losing interest in music nowadays. Although it could be a number of reasons. It could be reasons I'm completely making up and just being cynical about. I don't know.
And we always love those reasons.
Well, they're still horrible reasons, though.
Yeah, it's kind of a complex answer, but I think it's probably different for different people. It sounds like I think a lot of people just like the music for kind of the novelty of the fact that it was about ponies. So once that died off, maybe they stop liking it as much. But I think there are tons of people out there that still like music because they like the sound the artists create. They stick with them. So.
Alright, now here's kind of the really big question about relevance. What is going to happen to Brony music after the show ends? Will it go on for a while? Will we still see tours, albums, performances, and things like that?
I'm sure the musicians will still be around, and even if they move on to other stuff, they'll still continue to make music in general.
I know, but they probably won't be making Brony music, is what I'm saying. What's going to happen to Brony music?
Well, as soon as the show ends, there's obviously still going to be a fandom because, obviously, for instance, take Star Trek, like, for instance, that's ended like ages ago, but people are still fans of that, and there's still like a significant, huge fandom for it. But as soon as the fandom is like still there should still be pony music. I mean, obviously, like, if the fandom does go away, like, I don't know how long it would take, probably like a century, considering things, but I'm probably exaggerating ever so slightly on that number. But honestly, as soon as the fandom underestimating, so what, several millennia?
That'd be badass.
Basically, as soon as the fandom is still around, there's still going to be pony music and pony art. Obviously, it won't be in the numbers as it was previously when the show wasn't around, but it will still exist.
Yeah, it's not like it'll just cut off. It'll decline.
Well, of course not.
The only thing that could possibly stop pony music altogether is Hasbro sort of step in and claim copyright infringements on tracks. That's the only thing I can possibly think of that might stop, like, horse music.
Nuclear fallout.
Or a nuclear fallout, but I think that will stop everything, Blaze, to be honest.
Still
Sun
stop pony music
exploding.
though.
Well, you do realize that will end all the moths, right? Because that'd be a really bad thing. Well, what would you do if that were to happen?
Well, he'd die because nuclear fallout.
You can't live without them moths.
Every single muff died.
Can't really live at all. You know.
Alright, that was a terrible joke. I think the big thing I'm after here is, are we still going to see things like tours and albums and con performances? Because we know full well that once the show's over, people are going to move on, and I'm sure there's still going to be a fandom, but I think it's going to be to the same extent that Star Trek kind of is. Just people kind of cosplay sometimes, and they just go to these events and hangs out, but I'm wondering if Brody Music might stop a hell of a lot quicker after the show ends before the fandom well and truly ends.
I wouldn't say so, to be honest.
You don't think
There's
so?
if conventions are still around, they're going to probably want some, like, performances. Even from, like, there's a lot of people like Alex S and Silva, they're not doing pony music as such anymore, but they're still saying, if you want me for a convention, I will play pony music at a convention. They're still going to be around, just probably not doing pony music anymore.
What about, like, albums?
Albums, like I said, if there's still pony music being made, then I don't see why there shouldn't albums, like, be around.
And then again, you know, you got to realize that Daniel Ingram, the guy who writes the music for the show, he's like the ultimate brony musician.
Yeah.
At least that's what's going through my mind. So if he's still around and doing music, then I'm pretty sure that you know he might get like invited to like conferences and whatnot, and keep it going that way.
Yeah, true that.
Autumn Glaze, do you have anything you want to say about that?
I think just if you like the artist, then it won't die for you. You'll still follow the artist. Just because they stop making pony music doesn't mean that you'll stop listening to what they do. Other than that, yeah, I think everyone else is pretty much correct.
Glaze, any input? Your words of wisdom, Glaze. You agree?
I agree.
Okay, I'll just take that. That's why not. Alright, next little topic I got for you is cons and tours. Because cons and tours are absolutely awesome to talk about. Are we seeing a rise in cons and tours? Because I noticed we're having a bunch of cons lately, and we're having our first tour.
Yeah, there's a
Possibly.
load of cons. A load of cons. I'm not sure how that's suddenly happened, but I remember when BronyCon was literally the only con ever, and it was such a big thing. But now you've got cons for literally every state and country
Yeah.
and all that shit. But like the majority of them, some of them are successful, but obviously you get some of them that backfire massively, like that one in I was about to say Equestria. No, that's not right.
Las Vegas.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh god. This was brought up in the Charities and Conventions episode we had a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Quite a story about that particular convention.
I did not go to that one.
Did you guys go to that one,
My
Dave?
brother is singing in the background. Give me a sec.
Having an episode about music, someone's singing in the background. Of course. Oh my god, I can hear him. Dave, did you actually go to the Las Pegasus con?
I did not, as I am about 8,000 miles away.
Approximately.
Approximately.
Ish. I like the BronyCon last year, though.
Do you and Glaze only go to BronyCon in New York? Have you got any other ones in the States?
Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't
honest-
get him to stop singing, but hopefully he'll stay in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, like, if BronyCon is like the sort of ponycon there, we don't, like, I can't speak for Blaze myself, but I know I only sort of go because of the people who are going, like friends of mine who I want to meet up with. But I wouldn't necessarily go to like LA Pegasus or whatever it's called just to go for ponies, because it is a lot of money to sort of commit to, and yeah, it's just a bit silly. If it's something in Europe, like in France for example, it's not that much to actually get there. but it's still a bit of money. But it's obviously finances and all that. Say if I had like £1 billion, quadrillion pound for whatever reason, I would probably be more inclined to sort of fly around the United States a bit. But yes, it's just money really.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the downsides to these cons is most of the time, I don't know how it is for some of the artists that are bigger than I, but yeah, the fact that you have to spend money to get there is a huge deterrent, because it's, yeah, you only have so much money, so you have to pick and choose which ones you can possibly go to.
I could swim to like others in the US, but that would take a long time.
Yeah, it would probably take you maybe some months or so to do that.
Yeah, guitar strapped to your back with like waterproofing packaging or whatnot.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing to do would be looking around a keyboard. Well, a laptop would be easy, but yeah.
You don't really have to bring it up.
Or both.
So clap your hands and do things.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Alright, trying to think of questions I might be able to skip in the interest of time. Well, here's one we can kind of roll with in the cons and tours. Should we keep seeing more cons and tours to support musicians? Especially yourselves?
I don't know, honestly. I think cons that have musicians are good, because musicians get to perform in that, and I think that's a good thing, because musicians like to perform. Some do, anyway.
Glaze.
Yes. What is it?
Well, I've also really never performed either. I'm not a DJ exactly. I'm kind of control it. I'm learning how to DJ, but I can't do it quite yet, so I've never performed at these cons, except for Everfree, which I played the trumpet for a Brownie Mike sing. But I mean, I think, yeah, as long as there's cons that the musicians can go to, I think it's good, right? I mean, if anything, it at least helps build your followers, your fans, and it's good to, yeah. So I keep doing it forever, never stop.
I don't suppose we're also starting to see some more of the underdog musicians start to perform more at these cons, are we?
I'd say so. Like, if you look at the lineup for BronyCon, there's a couple of musicians who I literally had no idea existed until I saw them on the lineup. So yeah, definitely. There's a good mix of like people who are uber famous and people who are not.
Just kind of a random off-topic side question. Are there any difficulty or challenges with cons and tours? Do you think it affects music production at all for you or other musicians?
But it's very rare that people actually produce music at a con, which are very focused on other things.
When they're having
They're
to...
doing that.
Yeah, it is. So, just because you guys would have to be getting ready for the cons and everything, and not to mention, since I'm sure you guys are in high demand, to perform and stuff, does it actually affect the music production at all?
Not really. Like, performing and actually making music is like two separate entities, honestly.
I know, but they can take over time for one another. Sometimes.
Yeah, I suppose, but...
Yeah, but it's, the amount of actual days you spend at a con versus normal isn't probably that high. You spend some of the busier guys probably maybe a week or 2 weeks total. So it's not going to be a huge impact on your production.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of all the cons and tours questions I got. So, let's get to a really fun one, I'm sure. At least one or two of you are going to have so much fun talking about. Let's talk about viewers and fans. Yeah, let's talk about fans.
They suck. I hate them.
I was expecting a comment from Blaze there for a second.
Yeah,
Well-
we just want to do, well, That's really a lot to do. Like say, sometimes these fans think it's so awesome to meet like the object of their fandom, but once they meet it, they like freeze it because they don't know what to actually do. You know what I mean?
I know that.
Actually, Glaze, aren't you like the other way around?
No, like Renaud is my idol, and I literally freeze it whenever I get the chance to speak to him.
Have you actually talked to him before?
No.
Alright then. Yeah, let me take a look at some of these questions. I don't know if I want to ask this one, but have viewers or fans made anything music related difficult, or do they help you improve? Do they affect production and output?
I suppose
A number of them does.
Yeah.
Like
was
as the number rises, my like attitude towards music sort of gets, oh god, this needs to be perfect.
Yeah, I see it.
What would you say is your case, Dave?
Basically, I can't really comment on this. I don't. Sorry, I completely zoned out there for a second. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not very good at this.
He's asking whether or not the fans are detrimental to your production's quality or not.
Not really. I just carry on. I'd probably produce music if I had none. I don't really see them as a factor, as an like that affects on music production. But obviously you get some fans who just want to make you stop doing music because it's like, fuck's sake, why?
I think Total Biscuit put it this way: if you make your content completely and utterly centered around what the fans want, of course, when he talked about this, it was in relation to fans asking him to take on requests. But I think it applies here. He essentially said that if you focus on nothing but the fans, then everything you do then will be in service to them. It's not going to be more that you enjoy it, which is probably why they ended up enjoying it. It's going to be more like, well, okay, because you like this so much, I better go and do this. So, I think that it's actually a good thing to kind of put the fans in the back of your mind and like not focus on them specifically. Like when it comes to music, you should do it because you like the music, and you want to do the music. The focus should be the music, not the fans of the music.
Hi.
Did that make
That's
sense?
correct.
I think it was perfectly sound.
Okay.
It sounded sound.
There were words, and it formed a sentence that was coherent. So well.
Okay.
But do you guys think the same can be said for a lot of the other musicians you know?
I think music affects some of the people differently.
Well, we're talking about fans here affecting musicians.
Yeah.
Almost.
I don't know. It's hard for me to speak for other musicians. I don't know. For me, I tend to keep it in the back of my mind a little bit at least, but it doesn't. I have my own goals, my own personal goals, and I don't let the fans really change what I want to do musically.
True.
And yeah, I think that came out because I was thinking, I wonder if that's why maybe some people are quitting. Because just there's a lot of pressure on the fans, I'm sure. So I just imagine it's kind of hard to work with.
Yeah, there's literally people who only subscribe to like brony musicians because they are brony musicians. As soon as they make something that isn't brony, they're like, oh my god, how dare you? You should be working for me. And they sort of like, don't.
You should be their slaves.
You should be a fan of someone because you like their music, not because you like ponies.
Oh, but it's because they like ponies that they found the music. So you're essentially asking them to supplant their love of ponies for the love of the music.
Actually, then again, now there is the non-brony crowd who finds some of this music. Let's not forget about them.
It's that's a common music problem, right? If you're a musician, you just try and change your style. You know, it doesn't just have to be about ponies versus non-ponies. It could be like, you know, if you switch from trance to house or vice versa, or do something different, you're going to alienate the fans that you've had.
Yeah.
And they're just, some fans are okay with whatever you do. Other fans think that they're entitled to, you know, have input, or to, you know, that you owe them something. I don't know. Those fans, you typically have to maybe put out explanation why you're doing it or whatever, or not. But they'll always exist, and you don't really owe them any sort of answers.
Yeah, like when Paul McCartney did a tribute album of like a bunch of songs from like the 40s and 50s, he called the album, you're going to laugh so hard at this, Kisses on the Bottom.
What?
Yes, I'm serious. It's like one of his most recent albums. This is literally a covers album of like old 40s and 50s songs. At least that's my understanding of it. And he literally called it Kisses on the Bottom.
Kisses on the bottom.
You see, and so in cases like that, you know, Paul McCartney's just having fun making music for whatever the heck is going through his head. So
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what's going through his head on that. That's strange. Very strange.
you know, there are cases like that, you know, where, you know, fans are going to be like, okay, he's doing something like this. How do I even interpret, you know, what's going on with that? You know, but still, you know, there is the music from before, you know, like Beatles, you know, that fans will always get back to. So, you know, there's also that, you know, like if they don't like the new direction, then they can stay with the old stuff if they so prefer, unless something happens to the old stuff. Which I certainly hope doesn't happen to the old stuff. And now I'm just mumbling.
Yeah, that's what we do here on the show. Don't do it! Don't do it, man! Don't do it!
You don't want people to be able to comprehend what you're saying, you know, that's too convenient.
You want to make them think you're smart. You want to make them think you're clever. Alright, I might actually skip a couple of these questions. I guess what I can kind of ask here is, do you guys think you're getting more or less fans than when you were getting started?
Less. That's because I released less stuff, less pony stuff. But I still get followers, so that's nice.
I'd say yes, purely because I'm getting better at what I do, as opposed when I first started out, when it was just literally...
Blaze, do you still have legions of fans flocking to your channel every other day?
I do, yeah. Like, I'm just looking at my channel. What?
I don't know if he said flocking or fucking.
Flocking! No!
It's very confused
How about
for a second.
picture flattering? How about that?
Yeah, like, according to, like, analytics and stuff for my channel, I'm getting more, like, subscribes a day than ever before, somehow, even though I'm not doing anything.
I'm curious why that is. What do you have to do that, I wonder?
Make some good music.
Yeah.
I guess.
I'm assuming it's due to the fact that, like, there are so many fans of my music that there are more people distributing it.
Yeah, Gliz, don't you have like 50 million fan works too of your OC?
My sexy thing, yes.
Yes.
I'd say it's more than 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
No, 25 million is drawn by Twiggy Layer, so...
That's still quite a bit. I'm not going to ask this, but the question I was thinking about asking is it the same case for other musicians? I was also going to ask any fanatics, but I'm not sure if that's something you may have to you want to answer.
There's some scary people who speak to you and do weird things. I mean, I'm interested. As well as playing music, I'm sort of like progressing my way in the actual speaker scene, and sometimes I get messages from people who like speak random crap. I had this like 15-year-old German guy who messaged me a few months ago, and he was just like, "Oh, I really like the stuff," and I was like, "Okay, cool." Then he just kept speaking to me. It's like, it's really friendly. But then he just kept sending me really strange porn, and it was just getting out of hand. So if you count that as a fanatic, then yeah, it does happen. That's not good. It's very fair, though.
Glaze, I bet you probably got a bunch of good stories on this.
On what? People sending me porn? Yeah, basically.
Yeah, let's just breeze through the next bit of questions I got. We're actually kind of at the tail end of what all I got left. These are just kind of getting into some miscellaneous questions. Miscellaneous question number 1. Do you guys think you may be able to work with, like, the cast and crew of the show?
Which?
I very doubt they want to work with like something like me. 'Cause Jesus, no.
I don't know. I think Speedcore would work well with the chase sequence.
Yeah, but still.
in the whole chase sequence.
I can't see it ever being in My Little Pony, to be perfectly honest with you.
I'm not saying strictly My Little Pony. I'm talking like if
Pinkie Pie has a nightmare.
What? Pinkie Pie had a nightmare caused by Speedcore.
Does it have I bet that same dream would have moths in it.
You guys are fanfic writers, right? Got a fanfic about it.
I'm sure there's a fanfic of it somewhere.
There probably is.
Okay, but I'm also talking on the flip side, like if they, let's say Daniel Ingram or one of the singers or cast of the show came to work with you on one of your songs.
I would ask to be flown out to their studio. Because that would be amazing.
I've had Michelle Creeper ask me about something before.
Who?
That's sweet.
And I was the man, yes. I was the man in this and declined because I knew I wouldn't do it. I'm just that lazy.
But then we have like I know some of the musicians actually work with some of the cast, because didn't Mando and Silva actually do stuff with some of the cast?
Yeah.
I know Mike did something with John Delancey or something.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote that song in the Rome documentary.
Really?
Yeah, I know he provided a lot of the lyrics for it. It was like a collaboration between him, John, I can't remember who else, but it was like 3 or 4 people working on it. Yeah.
So, would you guys like to work with cast and crew from the show?
No. I just don't like working with people anymore.
Not even with like the splendid sound of some of the singers they have in that show?
Well, if it's like just vocals, I guess. Like, if I do the song beforehand.
Or maybe even with Daniel Ingram?
Daniel Ingram provides vocals.
That'd be interesting.
But don't know if he can sing. I'd like to
It's
collaborate
alright.
with them, but that would one of the wildest dreams situation.
I suppose I wouldn't say no if an offer came up of like working with someone from the show, but I don't see it happening anytime soon, especially with the sort of music I do. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Well, should they do music with some of the musicians? And maybe if they did, would it give a big boost to the music there?
No, it will just cause everything to explode. I'm not even joking. If someone, like, I'm only using him as an example because it's most notable. If Mando, for example, actually had a singing role in one of the songs, or his OC, or whatever in the show, then the entire Brony community, or in particular the musicians community, will sort of, like, implode of rage and shit and spaghetti and just, like, it just wouldn't end well at all. So for that reason alone,
I was in the
really-
show.
yes, you have a fucking thing.
Thing.
It's like, don't you have like a character in the show called Toasty who looks
Yes.
exactly like Toasty? Is that a
It's like
coincidence
this
or is
one
that a
pony
thing?
that's exactly my colour scheme, and like the fan name's just Toasty.
Oh, okay, yeah, the fan names gave it Toast too. You know, if the show creators want to do that, and if it works, cool, but
In principle,
No,
it sounds
like-
good, but in practice, it would not work at all.
yeah, I don't know if they put I don't see the point in like putting Mando Pony in other than just fan service. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it would be a great addition. I'd have to see it to believe it though.
But there's still going to be a few people who just go, oh, I don't like it, even if it is really good.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Should I ask what Blaze thinks would happen if the cast and crew worked with the Brony musicians? Do you think the internet would explode, Blaze?
It like explodes all the time. That's inevitable.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
Like
Alright.
anything to do with Venom, it's gonna explode in one way or another.
Alright, so, next miscellaneous question I got. Oh boy, do you think there should be more cross-media between musicians and, say, animators, for example? Within,
Yeah.
within the fandom?
I don't know.
I'd like seeing collaborations like that across different art mediums.
Alright, have you guys seen Interstellar 5555 by chance?
What?
Do you guys even know what that is?
Nope.
It's basically this, how do you describe it? It's kind of like a animated movie, but the entire movie is basically one big Daft Punk music video. And it was actually pretty well made.
I think that sounds familiar now, or at least the description does.
It had blue aliens in it. And
Wow, that's great input, guys. That's great input.
but anyway, I was bringing that up because I'd like to see something like that happen somewhere in this fandom with some
But I
craft media.
think it worked really well with the Epic Web Time video. Like, they got like 3 or 4 Brony artists to contribute to that, and found it really good. So I'd like to see more of that. It's, I think, a good idea if people can find the time to collab.
Blaze, do you think there should be cross media?
I definitely think there should be cross media. What do you think, Blaze?
Yeah, Blaze.
Uh,
Tell us what you think.
uh,
We want to hear your thoughts. We're totally prodding you for answers here.
Yes.
Full power to the mind grenade.
It's too much fun. Alright, last miscellaneous question I got here. Are there genres there should be more music of or less music of?
I really want to see like
Dubstep.
funk music.
More dubstep.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we need more wubs. There is not enough wubs.
More stuff like what Fleet Foxes do. You know, like I would imagine that something like that would plus like the pony style of music would be like, oh. But that's just me.
we need more high quality music.
More
More.
dubstep.
more dubstep.
Dave, you don't have any opinion on that?
No, there should just be more dubstep.
But what would it be? Oh, what would it be called though? I mean, like, what's like the bona fide version of dubstep?
Pony steps?
Dubstep.
I was thinking more something more cheeky, like a. Oh God,
step.
no, that wouldn't work.
Hoof step?
Clop step.
Clop.
Pretty sure there's a song by that name, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
There's any kind of pony, name you could give to a song pretty much exists. So much music out there.
Indeed. Alright, I think it's time to actually start wrapping up this exciting edition of SD3. But before we go, we're going to finish off with some of our more fun questions that we usually like to ask at the end of every episode. So,
Oh boy.
guys, here are the questions I have for you today. Oh my god. Who's best male pony? There's rumors of some My Little Pony spin-offs, and what kind of spin-offs would you like to see? And which of the 6 elements of harmony do you think you could best represent? Guys, why don't you answer these questions first?
I think there should be more dubstep.
God.
You're great interview material.
No, he's the comedic relief where I'm just boring the audience to death with my droning monologue. It's fantastic. So it's about who's best male pony? This does require an actual answer.
Male.
Best male pony.
I don't like male ponies.
Answer the question.
I hate them all. One of them.
Which one do you like? Do you hate the least then?
I hate them all on an equal level.
Wow. Way to represent.
No kidding. Okay, what kind of My Little Pony spin-off would you like to see? Whether it's about a specific character or a specific theme or something. Heaven forbid human ponies.
My Little Bicycle. All the characters are bicycles. And there are unicycles and tricycles.
Blaze, I was seriously thinking you were gonna suggest a show about moths.
Who rides the bicycles?
They don't. They ride themselves. Like ponies have saddles, but no one to sit on
Okay.
them. Well, yeah.
It'll be like cars, but with bicycles. Oh my god.
She worked for Pixar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Pixar would probably do that, yep.
Oh.
Although they're making a spin-off of Cars called Planes, or something or other like that.
Sounds horrible.
That sounds dumb.
I have no idea if it's good or not.
And then last question, Glaze.
I'm already in spin-off mode there.
Glaze, I think I know which one you're gonna say, but which of the 6 elements of harmony do you think you could best represent?
James Baxter.
Was that what you were expecting?
I was half expecting it, yeah. Because Glaze can't take anything seriously. God. Why did I even invite you to the show, Glaze?
I don't
Because
know.
it's hilarious.
That's what I should ask you.
That's a very good question, and I don't even have an answer for it.
Why did you invite me here? What am I doing here?
Because you're a celebrity, a famous musician.
And you got all of 3 or so people watching this show.
Hey, that's better
Shout
than what I
out to
did.
those 3 people that I hear from my post. I like you. I like you more than like male ponies.
No, maybe not that much. You don't know. He really hates his male ponies.
Apparently he does. Alright, so let's go ahead and quickly try and wrap this up. Dave, your answer to these questions.
The first one.
Best male pony.
I'm not sure. Probably Applejack.
Well, Jack is a female.
No, he isn't. Definitely a male.
No, she's a tomboy.
Oh, no, she's definitely male. I mean, why would she wear a hat?
Transgender.
Yeah, that hat is kind of suspicious.
Yep. I've also seen some pictures online that suggest otherwise. Horrible. Horrible pictures.
Alright, so what kind of spin-off would you like to see, Dave?
One where they're all depressed all the time and nothing happens because they're so
Like
depressed.
you.
Yes, just everyone is just really sad and yeah, really boring.
Let's get you like that. And which of the 6 elements of harmony do you think you could best represent?
All of them at once.
He's the Captain Planet of...
Uh-oh.
Alright, what are your clone answers then?
Yeah.
It could be the most boring of them all. I guess Shining Armor is cool. I don't remember what the second question is.
What kind of spin-off would you like to see?
Oh, yeah. The Griffins. Let's do an episode, spin-off with nothing but Griffins.
And starring Gilda. Perfect.
Starring Jackalap's OC.
Oh god. That's all we need.
She'd be like the main character. He's like, has that top hat. That'd be awesome.
That bitch and top hat. So which of the 6 elements of harmony do you think you could represent?
Rarity, because I love fashion.
Not an element, but okay. Mr. Element 3, 2, 1. What are your answers?
Big Mac. I'd like to see a spin-off where all the characters are male with very few females, and I honestly don't know. I can't think of anything that I specifically represent. Like maybe like honesty. I don't know.
Well, you are honest.
I try to be.
Fair enough. Okay, wow, that was quite an episode. Got a little
That's pretty good.
got a little grimdark, got a little weird, got a little random at points, but hey, that was informative nonetheless. Oh yeah, that was informative nonetheless. And I think this was a quote-unquote great way to kick off Operation Rainbow's Roots and Roadtrips. So, guys, thank you so much for coming. You've been fantastic and probably shot my ratings up, assuming we even have ratings. Anyway, Glaze, Dave, Stars, Autumn, it's been a blast. I can only hope I can rope you into future episodes someday for some more fun. Glaze, you'd be like the perfect comedic relief.
I don't pick on poor Glaze. You gotta space them out, you know.
I'm having too much fun picking on Glaze. It's entertaining me.
What?
You heard me. Alright, so that's episode 8 of SD3, and the first episode of Operation Rainbow's Roots and Roadtrips. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but don't relax just yet. This is only the first episode of our big special, and we have 4 more planned that are going to include some more fantastic guests and other exciting topics. And you do not want to miss them. For today, though, I've been your host, Misfortune, and hopefully I'll see you, my awesome viewers, tomorrow for another exciting edition of SD3. Till then, have a good night, and I will see you next time, Stableside.
See you, everybody.
Hello.